Hi, I'm Joy.
Hi, I'm Lorraine.
And this is Girlish Gurus. And Lorraine, why are we here?
We're here to talk about mid-lifestyle topics for women who are 45 and older to help you live your best, healthiest, and most fulfilled life. We're also going to have lots of fun along the way.
So let's get started. Welcome back to another episode of Girlish Gurus. I'm Joy.
And I'm Lorraine.
And Lorraine, today's a special day.
Yeah, we've got Claudia Fabian.
Yay!
Hi, Claudia, of the beauty debut.
I'm so happy to be here with you guys. Thanks so much for having me.
Yeah, I just want to tell everybody a little bit about you and how we met about 3 years ago, I think, right?
Yeah, it was during the pandemic.
That's right. That's
Wow.
right. So Claudia is a 30-year beauty industry expert. Her career as a makeup artist, esthetician, and Instagram pro-age beauty influencer has really given her the edge in understanding industry trends. In 2021, she decided against the advice of her peers to embrace her gray hair. She began sharing her experience on Instagram and has grown to over 190,000 followers. Yay!
Yay! That's awesome.
She is my hero.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
There she shares makeup tips and tutorials and her love of all things glamour. Her goal is to encourage women to age glamorously. Her message of age positivity has inspired many to also embrace their gray. Her philosophy of glamour never expires is a message many people can get behind. After 3 decades in the beauty industry, Claudia's mission as a beauty industry veteran is to begin shifting that narrative around aging, as well as encourage beauty brands to showcase more women over 40. Again, yay!
Yes.
As well as change the message from anti-aging to skin health. Claudia has been an esthetician for many high-profile spas throughout her career, as well as serving as VP of sales with many professional skincare brands. Let's welcome Claudia.
Welcome.
So nice to be here. As I said, thanks for having me, Lorraine. I feel like now I can be on your podcast,
Right.
which is so exciting. I'm so glad you're doing this.
Yeah, so Claudia and I met 3 years ago, right? As we said, during the pandemic, and I was a guest on her podcast when she was doing a series on menopause. And so we'll probably talk a little bit about how you got started with the podcast and all that as we get into the questions. But first, why don't you give us a little bit of a brief history of how you came into the beauty and skincare world?
Oh my gosh. Well, just like so many people, I'm not the only one. Since I was little, I had a fascination with hair and makeup and I just was always drawn to that. I think people that find themselves working in beauty have always been that type, right? They were the ones doing their makeup on their friends in high school and everything. And it just kind of evolved into, my career and obviously getting licensed and all of that as an esthetician. But I've always had a love for it since I was a little girl. And that's how I found it. And I'm so glad that I found it early, in my early 20s. I tried the college path. My mom, really pushed me to go to college, but I was so miserable in college. I hated it. It just wasn't for me. I was destined to work in the beauty industry. And that's where I finally ended up. And I'm so glad I did. Never looked back.
Joy and I, just before we hopped on here, were scrolling through your Instagram because I was pointing out certain pictures, certain reels, and she was having a ball over there just watching everything. You're so inspirational. You're in my feed every day, and I always look to see what you're doing there. But please check out.
Thank you.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about how you got started with the beauty debut. I know you started with the podcast and then on Instagram and social media. So give us a little bit of background on that, too.
Yeah. Well, initially, during the pandemic, I wasn't working as many beauty professionals. Right. We were out of a job for a while. And I was just feeling a little depressed and just what am I going to do? I was really even thinking am I going to have to switch careers at this point? Because it wasn't looking like they were opening spas and stuff very soon. So I just decided to dive that energy into a podcast. And I wanted it to give people a sneak peek what it's really like to work in beauty. And that's why the tagline was the good, the bad, and the catty. And as I started doing that, I wanted it to be a little juicy, but a lot of my colleagues and guests that I had on the show that worked in beauty, behind the scenes, they were spilling the tea and they were telling me all this stuff. And then when we got to the interview, they just froze up and they just didn't want to offend or have their boss hear it. So that just kind of deterred what the podcast really was going to be about. So I just, it was one season. I don't know if I'll continue to do that because now the beauty debut to me means something completely different. It's the name of my Instagram, but the beauty debut to me now has taken on the meaning of each decade as women, we debut a new beauty, right? Our beauty evolves. And so it's always changing. So the beauty debut to me now means debuting this decade that you're in and making the most of it and celebrating it. So that's kind of what it's morphed into on my Instagram, is just really pro-aging, helping women to see that you can age glamorously, as I call it. You don't have to give up all the things you love, throw away all those rules that we've heard. So that's really what it's about now.
Yeah.
I love that. Yeah. I really do.
As far as your podcast, now that has morphed into something different also?
No, I only did one season. I don't know if I'm going to continue doing.
Okay.
I mean, it's been since 2021, so I haven't done any new episodes, and it's really not something I'm super passionate about at this stage. Mm-hmm. As you know, Instagram can be a full-time job.
Yes.
So I am just really focusing my energies there, and I'm going to be starting a YouTube channel. Ooh, so I think that's kind of where it may go. I may come back and do some episodes again with the focus being on pro-aging, mm-hmm. but right now, if anyone's listening and you go back to listen to the first season, the only season that I did, it really is a little disconnected from what my Instagram is now.
Okay. I scrolled way back to the beginning of your Instagram, and it was all quite different than what you're doing now. And you went on that journey of going gray. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that? I know you had shared back a little bit about your mom, and it was during COVID, and it was a decision that you made back then. So why don't you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, I know a lot of women just embraced their gray during COVID because mm-hmm. they had to.
Yeah.
They couldn't get to the salon.
They couldn't get to you.
As soon as the salons opened, I did color my hair again. I didn't necessarily do it during COVID, but it was in late 2020. So pandemic was over for the most part. We mm-hmm. were back to working again, and I colored my hair. Yeah. So then that was the last time, was October of 2020 was the last time I colored my hair. And I just decided one day, like, this is it. I think you get to a point where when you're having to color every 2 weeks.
Yes.
And even that isn't enough. So after the first 4 days of my color, it looked mm-hmm. great. And then the white would start to pop and I'd have to use a spray or the powders. Mm-hmm. And I was just like, why am I doing this to myself? I'm not enjoying it anymore. There's a time when you enjoy coloring your hair and you can try different styles. And I did all of that. But having to go and do this every 2 weeks became not enjoyable. Yeah. So I think when it comes to that point is when it kind of clicks for people and they're like, I'm done and I'm just going to embrace the gray. There's many different ways to do it. Some women choose to cut their hair very short. That makes it much easier. I just decided just to go cold turkey, and I was inspired by other women on social. That's the great thing about Instagram and social media. You find your people, you find mm-hmm. your inspiration, and I just decided to do it, and that was it.
And you are gorgeous.
Oh, yeah. You're gorgeous.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you.
I had to take some extra time getting ready today because I felt like normally I kind of look like a wet rag. And so I was like, I was in the bathroom like, let me pluck my eyebrows real quick,
Yeah.
Well, I mentioned to Claudia a while ago that I really need her tutorials because I was so not that makeup girl. I just did like the most simplest thing, and even now I have no idea what I'm doing when I'm doing it. So when I go on my future book tour, can I hire you as my glam squad?
Yeah,
absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. I love doing stuff like that. Yeah,
and that's why I'm so excited about the YouTube channel. I can't wait to see whatever tutorial videos you're putting out.
Well, I think beauty can seem very complicated for a lot of people because there's so much out there, but it really can be very simple. And so I like to do everything from, the no makeup look all the way to full glam. So there's something for everybody on my Instagram and also soon to be on my YouTube channel, where I will focus on reviews of makeup, and we're going to dive into all the years I spent in beauty. That I feel like the industry that I loved so much has all of a sudden turned on me, in a sense, now that I'm older.
Yes.
Because it is such a proponent of don't age, anti-aging, wrinkle creams. To me now, it's kind of fueled me to make some changes and to kind of forge ahead for the next generation of women in general, but also women that work in beauty, that this has got to change. We have to change this old tune, this old narrative of wrinkle prevention, age prevention, anti-aging. I mean, that could be a whole separate podcast, because that gets me going. It's just such a toxic way to view aging, and I really want to be a voice for change in that arena.
Yeah. Why don't we talk about that a little bit? Because I know that you mentioned it's more about skin health. Like you went from almost like the beauty aspect of it to more of healthy skin and really taking care of our skin. So why don't you talk about that a little bit?
That's what it always should be about. As an esthetician, we're there to help you feel the best you can about your skin, to recommend certain products that can help with something that you're currently dealing with your skin. It always at the core should be about skin health. The anti-aging message really started in the 80s. It was when that kind of all became more normalized. Marketing became targeted at mature women. And it's just kind of escalated from there. And now we look and we see 20-year-olds getting Botox, using wrinkle creams, using retinols. It's like, what is happening? And then don't even get me started about the 13-year-olds or the preteen with Sephora.
Right.
I mean, it really should cause us to take pause. Like, what message are we sending to younger women? And it's becoming so toxic. And I think social media can be a blessing, because it can be a way for us to start switching that narrative, but it also is the proponent of that message. So we really have to be mindful of what we are feeding our brains with that message. So I just think that there's a lot of room for change. And you mentioned earlier in my bio about me wanting to also be a messenger for beauty brands to feature more women over 40. I mean, especially they want our business. Obviously they're targeting us with these wrinkle creams.
Right.
Yet we're not featured in any of these platforms and any of their marketing. And it goes to show you that ageism is so deeply rooted in all of us. We all have our own ageist thoughts in our mind, and it takes a lot to turn that off and to change your internal dialogue. But that really is my passion, and the goal of my Instagram is to help inspire women to start changing their dialogue.
And I can see from the comments in your post that you are making a difference, that people are saying, wow, I never thought about it. You inspired me to go gray. And I'm almost there. I'm not here to change every woman has gray hair. I just think that when it becomes unenjoyable, then the option is you can embrace it. Who says you can't? Men embrace it easily all the time, and we don't bat an eye. But when a woman does it, it's like, whoa.
They're celebrated for their gray hair, and we're looked down upon for it. But that's a social thing. And you're right. Not everyone needs to go gray. That it depends on who you are and what makes you feel good and what's right for you.
That's the key. What is making you feel good? For me, it became not a feel-good experience anymore. I dreaded, like, I got to go back to the salon. It was like, you drive there. It's like you got to sit there for 45 minutes to an hour. It gets on your skin. Like, it just was not enjoyable anymore. And that's when I made the decision. So if you enjoy getting your highlights and coloring your hair, maybe you're one of those people that goes every 6 to 8 weeks. Well, then that's really not a burden, right? It's kind of something fun. And I think if I would have been in that camp where I didn't have to color every 2 weeks, I would have maybe still been coloring my hair. So I think it's all perspective.
Yeah,
I agree. Yeah.
Okay, so why don't you talk a little bit more about your mission of bringing awareness to pro-aging, accepting ourselves as we age, and where do you go from here? as far as guiding women, inspiring women?
Again, the first thing comes from our internal dialogue. We have to kind of quiet the noise that the beauty industry is sending to us on a daily basis. I mean, if you scroll Instagram, they see your patterns, right? And they'll start sending you skincare ads, and you'll start seeing more of that. And you have to be so careful what you interact with on the app, because then you get more of that, right? So I think it's important first to really curate. If you're on social media, make sure you're following people that make you feel good about yourself. There's no sense in following, maybe it's a celebrity, or maybe it's somebody that kind of makes you feel less than or bad about yourself, or you go in the mirror and you think, oh, I look awful compared to her. That is not helpful. So I always say, start there, curate your Instagram. So when you wake up and you get on your phone and you look at it, you're feeling inspired, you're connecting with things that really matter to you. That's the beauty of social media, is you can curate your news feed, so to speak, and quiet that noise a little bit. So I think that's really important. Just as a side note, I don't know if that was your question, but
no, I agree with that.
It all feeds into pro-aging instead of anti-aging. So just being inspired and feeling good when you do look at social media, obviously you want to feel good each day with a positive message. So I highly recommend following people who make you feel that way.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
Yeah, follow your interests, follow what makes you feel good. And, you'll be surprised. It does play a lot on your psyche. And I've had to do that a little bit too. I've unfollowed some beauty brands that I really, love, but I chose to unfollow mainly because it's consumerism. I see a lot of beauty ads like for makeup and stuff, and I'm, oh, I want that foundation, or oh, I want that lipstick. So I've really narrowed down, as the beauty brands that I'm following, just to stop my spending, because I think you get trapped into that. That's the whole cycle of, oh, I need that. I need this new lipstick. I need this new thing. So I've really tried just to curate it so that I'm not overspending, and then I'm feeling inspired.
Right.
And those are two things that you can do to control what you're seeing. And then third, I think, as we talked about many times already, is your internal dialogue. What are you telling yourself? Why are you beating yourself up so much? Aging is a natural process. We've just been so conditioned to think that it should be avoided. You got to stop it. It's unattractive. You got to look as young as possible. And this is all fed to us from a young age, and it takes a lot to turn it off, but you have to start somewhere. And for me, part of that journey was embracing my gray. Another part of it is switching how I'm viewing getting older. And I'm an esthetician, so I work in skincare and beauty. It is so normalized for us in beauty, like, it's not, are you going to get Botox? It's why haven't you gotten Botox?
Yes, that's right.
It's very toxic, but it's so normalized that when you're in it, you don't see it. You just see, oh, well, everyone's doing it. And now that I've kind of stepped out of that world a little bit, I am just here to tell you that it is such a big lie. Like, everything is a lie that we've been sold. And it's so empowering to know that you don't have to do that. You don't have to put a toxin in your body to stay younger. And why do we want to stay younger? How long? I mean, how long do we do this? I think I did a post recently about that. Like, how long? Okay, so you're doing Botox. Let's say you're doing filler. For how many years do you have to do that? Can you give it up when you're 60, when you're 70? Like, when does it end?
Right.
When can you just enjoy being where you are in life? Like, we're constantly worrying about our wrinkles. To me, it just seems so outrageous that it's kind of like I've woken up, and I just want I want to shake everyone and just be like, you don't have to feel this way.
You kind of
have to feel this way.
You kind of remind me of the dialogue America Ferrera did for the Barbie movie. That's very true.
And there's a reason why that movie was so popular with women. It's because it resonates. We all are in that same world together, and we just have to lift each other up, empower each other. And again, no judgments for those that choose to partake in cosmetic procedures. I don't blame them. I know it's tempting, it's there, and it's so accessible and normalized now. Everyone is doing it, right? but there is another way. You can just like settle in to your age and feel good about it. And it's a lot more fun and a lot less expensive. Let me tell you that.
Yeah. And this is interesting. This is a shout out to Emmy, or waitress. Is that her name, Emmy?
Yes, Emmy.
So today we had breakfast before we came on, and we were discussing who we would be speaking to and what it would be about. And she said she and a girlfriend, and I would say she's what, in her early 30s maybe?
Yes, I think so.
And they were talking about all of these things, Botox and injections and whatever. And she said it's really about wearing your confidence.
Yeah.
That is where your beauty comes through. We don't need all those things. You can feel confident in your skin if you walk into a room with your shoulders back. And so it's like the confidence that you really put out in the world that shows your beauty both inside and out.
I love that.
Yeah, it's about self-love.
Mm-hmm.
That's really what it's about. It's about truly accepting and loving yourself.
Mm-hmm.
And, skincare should be used for your skin health, not for the hope that it's going to turn back time.
Yeah.
There's certain things in skincare that definitely can help your skin feel its best, hydrate it, give it the nourishment, vitamins, and minerals. But these wrinkle creams and these promises of these neck creams and stuff, it just drives me nuts. It's all a lie. I mean, I could go through some of the popular ones and break down the ingredients to you and let you know you're wasting your money. It's not doing, it's just dimethicones and oils. You can just do that on your own. You don't need to buy $100 and something neck cream. It's just, they're just preying on our insecurities.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And there's so many brands coming out now specifically for like menopausal women. Obviously, I'm in that world.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, that's my other pet peeve. Now they say, now marketers are like, okay, women don't want to hear that. Okay, what can we do? I know, we'll say this is designed specifically for women over 50, or it's a must-have for your skin at this age, or you shouldn't be wearing this makeup over 40. Here, buy my makeup. My makeup's designed for women over... It's all bullshit. Your skin is your skin. Mm-hmm. Skin is your largest breathing organ. It may have different requirements at different stages based on your lifestyle, your diet, your DNA. Okay, those things contribute more. So yes, you may need an extra ingredient if your skin is feeling super dehydrated, all of that. But skincare is not segmented like that, and it's just marketing. And the same thing goes with makeup. Makeup is makeup. It's marketed and packaged to think that, this is designed for women over 40. It's stupid.
Yeah.
Well, I hope you...
I can't think of another word. It's just stupid.
I hope you talk about this on your YouTube channel, because this is something that I am not well-versed in at all, and I'm kind of just flying by the seat of my pants. I'm going into it blind. And so, again, I need all the help I can get. And there's so many talking heads out there that it's hard to know what's the baloney and what's the actual fact. So I hope you're talking about that, because a lot of people, there's almost nobody in our space.
Right, and I don't mean to trample on, maybe some of your listeners have an esthetician that they work with, and that esthetician may have a certain philosophy. And I'm not trampling on that. I think all estheticians at the core want to help people feel better. But a lot of estheticians are simply educated by the skincare brands. They're just kind of feeding you their marketing message. You're taking that and regurgitating that to your guest. So I just have learned so much by working in the beauty industry for the last 30 years. And so I'm just really ready to go rogue and to kind of call this stuff out, and to talk about it on my platforms, and just let people know that there is another way. Skincare and makeup is fun. And if you enjoy the whole process of buying it and you like to treat yourself, there is nothing wrong with that. But again, I just want people to go into it with the right mindset. Skincare is self-care, but only when you have the right mindset.
Right. Mm-hmm. And there are very few people, from what I can tell, and I've been looking on YouTube for quite some time looking for information, and there are very few people in this space that are of our demographic talking about doing skincare in a realistic way for women who are over 40, because everybody's concentrating on under 40. And so
we're a youth obsessed culture.
Right.
It's youth. Everyone wants to look younger, right? Marketing and skincare brands and makeup brands want to work with quote unquote beautiful young women, right? Because that's what sells. Because again, we're so conditioned
Right.
in our society to value youth over age.
It's true. Yeah, true.
And it's just, we have to like deprogram ourselves.
Yeah.
We've been programmed. It's kind of like we've all been in a cult.
Yeah,
We've all been in this cult, and we're just mindlessly following and thinking, oh my gosh, okay, I'm 40 now. Let me get Botox. Oh, now I need a neck cream. Now I need to do this. It's just like robotic thinking, and we're being fed this constantly on social. So again, I just encourage people to take a step back and have some critical thinking. Really think about what's most important to you, and that age is something really that should be celebrated. Not everyone gets the chance to get older. And, we're just so critical and negative. I mean, like what you're doing, Lorraine, helping women see the positive of going through menopause. There's so much negativity around it that it makes it kind of depressing to be in that space, because you think, oh, now I'm in this stage and I'm getting hot flashes and but it's part of life, and it doesn't have to be a negative. It's just a natural part of life.
Yeah. We have to change our perception.
That's what I'm trying to do on the other side for the beauty.
Right. Change our perception of what aging is, of what menopause is, and look for the positives in it, in all of it. Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah.
So, Claudia, why don't you tell us now, what do you have in store for the future? Your YouTube channel? Do you do speaking engagements? Do you travel around?
Also, where can our listeners find information about you? We're going to put links in the description to all of your platforms and everything, but just go ahead and let us know.
Well, right now I'm on Instagram is where you can find me, The Beauty Debut, and then I'll soon have my YouTube channel. I'm hoping to launch that mid-April, have all of, several videos up, and then just start posting there weekly with longer format, because, Instagram is short clips. So the great thing about YouTube is it's longer format, and I really just want to inspire women that you can age glamorously, meaning you don't have to give up all your beauty stuff just because you're getting older, or you don't have to. Shoot, if you don't want to wear makeup, don't wear makeup. I'm all for it. Look at Pamela Anderson making such a huge impact because she's a celebrity and it's so unheard of.
Right.
I embrace her for doing that. I just love her even more, that she's just saying, this is it. This is how I look. I think so empowering.
And she's still gorgeous. I mean, beautiful. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we all are. That's what I think. You had said earlier, like, I need all the help I can get. No, you don't. You don't need help. That's the thing that I want to empower you. We don't need help. If you want to do it, if it makes you feel good to grab that cream and you like the ritual of doing it, great. But we don't need any of it.
Oh, sure. Yes.
That's the key. You don't need help.
That's a great
so
message.
Just remember that.
Yeah.
And then speaking engagements, things like that. I don't have anything. I'm not going around I'm not doing a tour. I'm not at that point yet.
No book yet.
But I'm open to it. So if anyone would like me to come speak, I'm there. I've been doing several podcasts. And so that's kind of where I'm at. Right now I'm on social and I'll be on YouTube. So pretty simple.
Okay. So mostly it's on Instagram, The Beauty Debut.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. That's where everybody can find you.
And in mid-April, we will update the notes on this episode and we'll put the link to your YouTube channel.
Yeah. So now Joy has one last question to ask you today.
So back when we started Girlish Gurus, I was thinking, okay, what can we do to wind up the episodes and to bring another dimension to it? And we came up with the idea of asking this question. What are the 3 things you would have told your younger self if you could go back in time?
Oh, okay. 3 things. I would save more money.
Yes.
I'm a spender. I like to shop. Don't shop so much. Save some of your money. Eat really well and exercise more. I didn't do any of that. And that's why I hate exercise now. But if I would have formed those good habits when I was younger, I think it would have been so much easier to maintain your weight and to not have all the typical menopause weight gain. Just get in good habits when you're young, if you can. And the third thing would be that I would just say, accept and love yourself. Like, it's going to be okay. You know what I mean? Like, I would have really focused more on that and knowing that everything that I need to be successful is already within me. We a lot of times search for external validations and external ways of seeing success, and it's all already within you. You have everything you need inside of you already. Like there's no need to search it out. You have the love, you have the intelligence, you have everything that the universe, God, whatever you believe, has already seated inside of you, and it's there. And trust your intuition, trust yourself.
Perfect.
Oh my gosh.
Love it.
That's so good.
Yeah. Well, we want to thank you so much for being here today, Claudia. And we look forward to what you have coming on YouTube. We will
can't
definitely
wait.
be big fans.
Oh, yes, for sure. With bated breath. Yes,
Yeah.
I'll be waiting. I'll be checking.
Oh,
Is Claudia
you
on YouTube
guys,
yet?
that's really sweet. It's nice to be encouraged like that. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
And appreciate you guys having me on your podcast. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thanks for
Okay.
being
Until
here.
next time.
All right. See you next time. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thanks for listening to this episode of Girlish Gurus. We hope you'll join us next time for more fun and inspiration. Be sure to check the description of this episode for links and information about the topic, and you can find us on our social media platforms starting with Instagram, Facebook, and now including YouTube. You can find us by searching Girlish Gurus, and you can also check out our website, girlishgurus.com, for more information on us, our projects, books, and our growing community.
And don't forget to download this episode, give it a good review, and share it with your girlfriends. We would also love to hear from you in the comments because the more interaction we get, the more episodes we can post. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Bye.